All right, we're going to start with the fraction. We'll start with decimals. It's easier. When you were in 6th grade, you learned how to add and subtract regular decimals. You might have done that in 5th grade, right? 5th grade, 4th grade. It's been a while since you've learned how to do adding decimals. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. So it's been a while. So if you did, we're not even going to do an example. But if you, I did not pick my color palette ahead of time. The one thing you have to remember about decimals is you have to line up the decimals. You have to. You cannot take tens away from tenths. Those are very different. It's taking a dime away from a dollar and ending up with 0. That's not how that works. So if we had negative 3.06 minus 5.71. Sure. The other thing, lining up decimals, we follow integer rules, so we're going to treat this like it's 306 and 571, which you did in 6th grade, just it's a big integer. So no more subtraction. Change subtraction to add the opposite. Change subtraction to add the opposite. Bang, bang, bam, bam. Keep, change, whatever you call it. I call it add the opposite because that is what it is. So instead of it being minus 5.71, it's going to be what? Adding a negative 5.71. Now, same sign, sum. Same sign. We're going to add them together. Same sign, sum. Different signs. You find the difference. And you keep the sign of the bigger number. Keep bigger sign. So with this one, just for fun, let's throw a 1 on the end of that. 711. Are these same signs or different signs?
Same sign.
Same sign. So I'm going to sum. So I need to add 5.711 to 3.06. So I'm going to put 5.711 on top. Negative, sure. And then the bottom I'm going to put 3.06. The decimals have to line up. It's also a negative. I'm adding them together. And I can add a 0 right here to fill that space because my decimals have to line up. And when my decimals line up, my decimal ends up right there. Then I add. So 1, 7, 7, 8. And if it was negatives and I'm adding more negatives, then my answer is still a negative. 5 negatives plus 3 negatives is 8 negatives. It's not magically 8 positives. This means go left 5 spaces, go left 3 spaces. You're at -8. You're not at +8. +8 is 16 spaces away from -8. So every time you're like, oh, but I was close. No, you weren't. You were 16 away. And if we're talking thousands, you're double the thousands away from the right answer. So close does not mean negative or positive. Just throwing a negative sign in front of a number does not mean, oh, but I was close. No, you are really far away. Really far away. So that's it. It's basically like regular integers, but we're going to throw a decimal in there. Okay? Fractions. Fractions. What is the biggest rule about adding fractions?
Don't mess up.
Oh, that too.
Whatever you do to the bottom, or whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the
Do unto the top as do unto the top as you do unto the bottom. Yes, that too. But why do we do anything to the top and bottom? What is our goal with doing things to the top and the bottom?
To get the smaller number.
No.
To get the bigger number.
Same denominator. There it is. We have to have a common denominator.
I wanted to say that. Who's so with that?
Sorry, I was looking to my left. Next time I'll look to my right. If I look that way, the light shines in my eyes. Denominator. Common denominator. I can't do anything to fractions, adding and subtracting wise, unless they have a common denominator. So if I had negative 1/8 minus
Positive.
1/4. We'll pick something easy.
Oh, that's
Gotta have a common denominator. What is the common denominator between 8 and 4? I'll look over there. 8. Do I have to do anything to this to keep the denominator 8? No. So I'm going to keep it 1/8. Negative. What do I have to do to 1/4 times 2 it?
So 2
So 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Is 2/8 equal to 1/4?
Yes.
Yes, it is. I didn't change the value. I just cut it into smaller pieces. You didn't get more cake. You just cut the cake into small pieces. So common denominator. Same thing. I have to change subtraction to addition. Change, subtract to add opposite. So bang, bang, or bam, bam, or keep changing. I hate all those little kitschy little things. Because they all just get confusing, and then you want to, because you're like, oh, I need to keep change. No, you don't. Like, you don't always keep change. All right, then
This is a
I integer rule the numerators only. So at this point, I add numerators only. And I follow integer rules. So my numerator over here is a negative what? Negative 1. And my numerator over here is a, so I'm going to do negative 1 plus negative 2, which is negative 3. And my denominator,
8.
How did you get 8? Where'd it come from?
Because it's the same.
Yeah, so we keep the denominator.
It's 16.
No, don't do that. Don't add the denominators. Denominators. No, don't add the denominator. And then when I'm dealing with fractions, what's my last step? Always, if I can.
Simplify.
Simplify. Can I simplify this one? No, so I'm done. The end.